Hello, this is an Astroneer tutorial on how to make a sequential storage system. So what exactly is sequential storage? Well, it's filling up your canisters in a specific order. So in this case, we have this one that you will be filling, and all three of these are set to output, so they're not going to be filled. Once this one is full, then you're going to enable this one so that it fills up, and then you go to the next one and the next one. And why would you want to do this? So you can make a nice display like this. This is showing that we have 2 canisters of compound, 3 canisters of resin, and only 1 canister of organic. So we may want to go and get more organic. How this works is, for each canister, you're going to have a storage sensor set to empty, not empty, and a storage sensor set to full or not full. The empty, not empty is going to go into a count repeater set to 2. This way it only triggers when it's empty and not when it's not empty. And that line is going to go into your previous resource canister. This is for when you are emptying this canister and this canister becomes empty. You want to continue emptying from this canister, and you're going to need to toggle the output on that. For the fill sensor, that's going to go into a count repeater set to 2 counts, and you're going to activate one of the counts. This means that it's only going to trigger when the canister is full, and it's going to trigger the output of the next canister in the line so that that will begin sucking in your resources. There is one small problem with this setup, in that if you have a canister with a resource on top of it, which is basically what it does before it'll go into the next canister. If you look at this count repeater here, there's no counts on it, but if I deposit, there's now 3 counts. This is because that resource on top actually fills up the canister again and then unfills really quickly. So this is actually toggling 3 times when you start entering this canister. There is a way to fix this. I had a lot more complicated designs to deal with that, but it turns out that second fill empty is so quick it doesn't have enough time to open a power switch. So this design, as you can see here, only lets the power through on that first not empty and ignores that second super quick fill not empty. So how this works is you have your sensor set to full not full. It's going into your power switch and a delay repeater set to 1, and the delay repeater set to 1 is going into the power switch as well. This turns on and off the power switch in 1 tick, and that allows this power sensor set to power gained to trigger your standard count repeater for your output. So what this looks like in practice is, here is 5 canisters set to fill and empty in sequential order. We have the full, not full sensors for each canister going into the power switch and the delay repeater, which goes into the power switch. We have the power sensor set to gained, which triggers your count repeater, which goes into your next canister. It's the exact same thing for all 5 canisters, except for the final canister. When this fills up, we don't have any more space left, so this can just go to your storage display. We don't need to do anything with that output. There is a much easier way to do this, but it has a 1 in 32 or 1 in 400 chance, depending on which size canister you use, of breaking your system. So if we have the same thing for all the storage containers where you have empty, not empty storage sensor and a full, not full, you can just have the full not full sensor go into a count repeater set to 4 with 3 ticks on it. So this will account for when you have a resource on top and it does that 3 tick or three pulse thing when you're emptying it. But if you're in the situation where you have a full container and there's no resource on top, it will break this system. So this is a lot simpler, but it does have a small chance to break. It's 1 in 33 or 1 in 401. So let's show this in action. So here we have just an extra canister. We have our displays over there. I just did 2 types. We can turn this on. It's going to start filling up that canister. Oh, there we go. We filled that up and it turned on this one, and we're going into the next sequence. We can also turn this to output, and then it'll start filling up that container, and it will keep going on to the next container. So this will keep filling. Now, as you can see here, I had to toggle these containers manually, but you may be in a situation, if you're using this, of having these kind of packed tightly and you may not know which canister you want to actually toggle to start dispensing your resources. So what we have for that is we have this circuit back here. This circuit will toggle your currently in use canister to either start dispensing, or if it's dispensing, to start pulling in resources. What we have is our button repeater. This is the only thing you need showing. This is what will actually toggle everything. This goes into another button repeater just because I had to add a bunch of stuff to here, which goes into all 5 of these power switches. There's 1 power switch along here for every single canister in use. We have these set of power switches up here, which gives us the information as to which canister is active at the moment. As you can see, this second canister is active, so we have the second power switch active. When you toggle your power switch, what's going to happen is it's going to send a signal through here, so we're going to get a power gained on the power switch of the active canister, and that's actually going to toggle the switch again to turn everything off. The way this system knows which canister is active is if you see these lines are going to our storage empty not empty sensor. So this means once a canister stops being empty, we're going to toggle that empty not empty switch, and that's going to flip these 2 power switches. So if we have it like this, it's in the first canister. Once the second canister stops being empty, meaning it's starting to fill, this will actually turn off the empty not empty sensor will turn off that power switch and turn on this power switch. And then the second canister will turn off this power switch and turn on this switch. And then when that toggles back to being empty, it'll flip it back like that. So this allows you to, with 1 press of a button repeater, either toggle the dispense or pull of resources from the currently active resource canister. So I will end this video by letting a couple fill up so you can see this system in action. There is one small issue with this system, is that you're going to need to feed it with a filtered auto arm. Otherwise, if you get a different resource right at the transition between canisters, it can pull in that resource and then it will start filtering for that resource. So you want to make sure anything that goes on the platform with your sequential storage is filtered before it reaches the platform. All right, so that is how you make a sequential storage system with a nice display. If you like the video, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.